Jack, you know, I had a really good time there. It was a very impressive program. But I don't think I saw everything. I think we were very busy there.
Yeah.
Are there some other things that I missed?
I hope not. We showed you in 2 days a lot of things in the Eindhoven region. But when we think about the past of the region, you talked about your colleague talked about with the person from Dundee about the past. And in Eindhoven, everything started with a light bulb. So simple as that. It started when the Philips Corporation in 1891 developed further the light bulb. And Philips and another company, the trucks company, DAF Trucks, they were like the mother and father of our community. They took care of everything. Healthcare, all the associations were being started by Philips or by DAF. And when in 1993, both companies went down. So they have to lay off a lot of people at both companies. And and they stopped with a lot of activities for the community, but the community was strong enough, and instead of waiting and lay back, we were aggressive as a community. We were positive about the future, and we took care of ourselves. We didn't have to. We're proud of Philips. We're proud of DAF. But it's not so. It's not the case that they are just our mother and father of our community. We did things together.
So when Philips left to move to Amsterdam, at least their headquarters.
Their headquarters, yeah.
A lot of the rest of Philips didn't leave. In fact, a lot of the R&D stayed.
Luckily, it did. And not only the R&D department of Philips itself, but they opened up R&D. So it's open innovation, and they opened up the high-tech campus. And that's you saw it in the movie. It's a big ground with a lot of buildings. But the most important thing, it's very global. So a lot of international people work there. There work around 11,000 people at that plant. And it's all open innovation. You have one front door, but you have a lot of back doors. Everybody in Brabant, our state, comes through the back door. Nobody comes in through the front door. Because in the back door, you come in the kitchen and you sit around the kitchen table and you talk about everything that's happening in your family. That's the way we like to work together, and that's the way we like to be in our society. And that's the same with the high-tech campus. You have one front door, but you have a lot of back doors, and everybody is looking at each other and at each other's developments, and it's pre-competitive. So it's before they put things on the market. They work together and they see each other and they meet each other and develop a lot of new products. And it's that good that we're already 60% of all patents of the Netherlands are realized in our region, and we're only 700,000 people in the whole region, while the whole country is 16 million. So you see that research and development is in the base in our region.
So there's this high-tech campus, and Philips used to have a very proprietary aspect to it. I mean, you couldn't get through the gate. This was a Philips campus. Mm-hmm. But today, many companies can walk through there, be part of it, and the concept of open innovation is something that's very unique to your area. Some people would call it innovating innovation.
That's true.
And can you explain a little bit more? Maybe give an example of a couple of companies?
No, like ASML. ASML is one of the biggest corporations in the world. They produce wafer steppers. A wafer stepper produces chips. And ASML is the number one, I think, because it's in my city, the number one of the world in that field. And they improving the supply chain. How did they do that? They all the suppliers from ASML are within a range of 40 kilometers around ASML. And instead of inventing and developing and innovating at the ASML plant, they work together with their suppliers, and their suppliers are encouraged to innovate and develop products together with ASML. So it's not only for ASML, they can use their knowledge and their research and development also for other companies. And I think the concept of open innovation is also a concept of trust. You trust each other. You want to do things together. You want to collaborate with each other. And it's a cultural aspect, but it works in research and development in the future. And I think it's the only way that we can stay at the top level as a region, because we have a lack of knowledge workers. That's our biggest problem in the Netherlands. So we need to work together to fulfill all the goals we have for research and development.
So one of the key things in the community, Brainport, is about trust and about collaboration. And you're able, through this Triple Helix group, to be able to do that. Explain Triple Helix and explain how you're able to bring this collaboration together in a community of over three-quarters of a million people.
Mm-hmm. The Triple Helix is a collaboration between the government, between corporations, and between knowledge institutes like universities. The government is already very much divided. We have 21 municipalities in our region, and everybody who knows the government knows how hard it is to work together with 21 municipalities. But still we can do that because we have the same goal, we have the same vision of the future. And the same vision we share with all the companies and with the knowledge institutes. So we have an agenda for the future. We call it the Brainport 2020, and it's the agenda that fulfills our tasks for the future. And we don't fight about we don't fight with each other. We collaborate together, and we know what the government people have to learn to talk business-wise. The businessmen have to talk a little bit like the government. That's very hard for businessmen. And the knowledge institutes have to learn that it's not only the academic task that's important, but also to work together with the corporations and with the government, because technology is very, very good, but it's also necessary for the future and for people. So people have to understand their technology and developments.
So why was Brainport created? Perhaps you could talk a little bit about the organization of Brainport and what its role is in terms of helping this Triple Helix to become motivated and work together.
Brainport isn't a big organization. It's just a pretty small organization. It's an organization who facilitates the Triple Helix, the knowledge institutes, the government and the business. And they have people who help us to speak the same language. They translate the government language to the business language and the business language to the government language. And they help us with that. And also they keep us sharp as partners in the Triple Helix to share the same goals for the futures.
And what are some of the results of all of this collaboration that's happening? Are there some companies that you could talk about in terms of not only the high-tech park, but maybe the auto campus?
Holland doesn't have an auto industry. So we don't have a GM or Ford or Volvo, so we don't have our own auto industry. But we have the high-tech automotive campus. And there are a lot of companies who have technology who is used in cars, like TomTom, like the electronic car, the bus without a driver, you saw it. That are developments and innovations were made at the high-tech automotive campus. It couldn't be possible if we didn't collaborate with the government, businesses and knowledge institutes. We use knowledge institutes like TNO and the university to bring in the knowledge. We need the government as a launching customer for the buses without a driver and for the electronic cars. And we need the businesses to develop and get capital to innovate those projects. And that works very well. We created a lot of jobs. It's in the city of Helmond. We created a lot of jobs already. And we hope to create like 2,000–3,000 jobs already on that spot. So that's a good goal.
Well, this idea of a driverless bus was something that was very interesting. Could you just talk a little bit about that? Have you been on it yourself?
Yeah, but I'm not a technician, so it's I know it works with magnets. And that's very important. It's very green, so that's very important. It's very sustainable. That's very important because that are all goals we have for the future in our society. So yeah, you have to experience. You experienced it, so maybe you can tell a little bit about it to the audience.
Sure, but one thing that I found very interesting is you actually have a line between your city center and your airport.
Yep.
With the driverless bus.
Yep.
These are magnets in the ground that the bus follows, and there is a bus driver on it, so that if in the event that there's a problem, an accident or something on a traditional road, they can still veer off and go off to another road. But what it does is it takes the pressure off of the bus driver, and more importantly, on very tight streets,
yep,
they're able to pass each other, whereby a driver might make the error and actually have an accident. The driverless bus will be able to pass within very narrow specification. So this works well on very tight streets, yep, and on platforms. So that's something I found very interesting. But talk a little bit more about some of the applications that come out of these open concepts. One of them was some of the activities that are coming out of the smart house that I visited. So open innovation is part of that whole process. Can you talk a little bit more about the open innovation at the high-tech park, and maybe, you know, are there some of those products that are part of the community now that are part of that?
If we think about healthcare, for example, that's a very important theme, especially because people in Holland also become very much elderly. So the caring, we call Brainport the caring communities who have to care about our people, and especially in healthcare, business like Philips, for example, works together with the healthcare company and with the insurance company to see if there is healthcare on distance. Special tools in the house, so if you fall down, that the alarm goes off and stuff like that. And it's the collaboration between those companies and those institutions who makes products work, and the government has to be a launching customer for that process, and that's very important. In Europe, the government has a very important role in the economic situation. And we think we have to be a launching customer in very many fields, especially on healthcare and on care.
So one of the activities that they encouraged me to participate in was, instead of staying in a hotel, they asked me to stay in the smart house, partly as a guinea pig for how does a non-Dutch person work the technology. Well, I'll tell you what it turned out to be. I'm touching a lot of buttons, and curtains are moving, and music's going. And the first evening that I was there, and this building is in the middle of a park. I mean, I'm not part of a neighborhood. So anybody driving past this park would have seen, you know, lights going on and off, curtains moving back and forth, music blaring. But you know, I found that it was very intuitive. After a while, even though I couldn't read the language on these various pads and so forth, I was able to figure it out and live in this smart house quite nicely. It is an experience to be able to do that. But when you came over, we had dinner with other mayors, and I showed you around. There were a number of things there. You talked about the health environment. What impressed you about the smart house?
I think the care for the environment in the house. So energy, how the energy works, and how you be confronted with the use of energy in your house, and how you can be more sustainable for the future by using less energy. Like that's I think one of the most important things for me with the smart house. So it's not only a smart house, it's also a greenhouse, and I think that's for the future very important. I hope we're going to try a pilot in one of the cities in Helmond in a few months with a smart grid, for example, and that are examples for the new way of living in Holland, and I hope in the rest of the world. So we don't need natural resources for living comfortably in your own home.
Well, the theme of my particular visit was called the caring community, and you mentioned that a moment ago. So in the Smart House, there were a lot of applications that were off the shelf. They were not futuristic.
No.
And the whole point of it was that I was to experience, and other people who are in there to experience, living with things that are available today to make your life more pleasant and efficient. But at the same time, there were some attributes to the home that clearly we are able to adopt right away in our homes. This is part of an educational process,
yep.
And so people come through there on a daily basis to educate themselves. There are a lot of smart technologies that we'd like to see in other places around the world. How do we transfer that technology and information around the world?
I think every city in the world can build a smart house. That's no problem, because everything that was in that house is available on the market, just what you said. And, but it's important that constructors, builders, architects, families know that they know what's on the market, because all the builders or architects are very conservative when they build a house. They don't know everything what's on the market, especially with all the caring stuff, what's in the house. So I think it's very important to let it be, the Smart House is like a showcase for everybody who's involving in building a house. And maybe it's important that every city has its own Smart House, so that people who are want to build a new family home can see what's possible, not in the future, but today.
The theme of this gathering is about education and being the last mile. Many of the schools that you took me to had very advanced programming, technology available to the children. Can you talk a little bit about the school system there and how it works? What are the ways in which the kids begin to understand about what's going on in the rest of the world?
That's not only in the classroom. I think that's the most important thing. School and education is not only in the classroom. So, but for example, the Smart House, also school classes from the school are visiting the Smart House and see what's possible in the future. We have some ICT programs with the schools with their own laptops, and you've seen children from 6-7 years of age who are really involved and really enthusiastic about, like a simulation game where they learn and get educated in what I thought was, in my past, was boring stuff, but now in a kind of a gaming way, in a simulating game way, they were very enthusiastic even about math. So that's pretty good.
You talk about simulating. There were lots of simulation systems that are available in the community. You have a lot of universities. There's the medical community that simulates. In fact, I delivered a baby there that was a simulation.
Yep. She's still healthy. She's still healthy, yeah. She's growing a lot, so we got a good delivery.
And it was covered by the national press. So in any event, I enjoyed having that C-section. When he said cut here, I said, I don't know about this. But anyhow, can you talk a little bit about that?
It's a medical simulation. It's developed together with the university and the medical center, the Maxima Medical Center. The doctors in the hospital, when they operate, very important is the team building and the teamwork they have in the operating room. And you can't train and educate, you can't build a team by saying you have to do this and this and this and work with protocols. You have to work together, and that's also communication. It's also a culture in a team. And that's the great part about the medical simulation. You see a teamwork at, for example, delivering a baby, and they get a review and feedback about that operation. And it's not about, maybe it's not about techniques at all. It's mostly about teamwork and collaboration and communication. And the hospitals who are already have experienced the medical simulation, they were really enthusiastic, because you see that a lot of operations, the most operations go good, and also in Holland. But sometimes when something goes wrong, it's sometimes, mostly of the times, it's about communication. It's not about knowledge. It's about communication, and medical simulation helps them to work together and communicate during an operation. That's pretty helpful, and it's possible to have a virtual medical simulation in the future, and that will be great, so that somebody in, for example, Nairobi, Kenya, can use the facility in Eindhoven in a virtual way and learn how to work as a team together. And that's, I think, is a good global initiative, and show that that we work together also as a world to be intelligent communities all over the world.
Well, thank you, Jack. It's a really interesting community. I enjoyed myself there. And I recommend to all of you, if you have an opportunity to go to visit the area called Brainport, it's also the original home of Vince van Gogh. And I think it's a terrific location for you to go and promote tourism as well. So thank you very much, and we'll talk more at tonight's party.
Okay, we will. Thanks a lot.
Okay.